Welcome, creeps. You're listening to the Umbra Tapes, where we dive into unsolved mysteries, disturbing cases, and the downright weird. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Leah. Thanks for creeping in.
It's late. The house is quiet. The kind of quiet that only happens when everyone else is asleep. You wait, just a little longer, listening for movement, for footsteps. Nothing. Quietly, you pulled the old pillow under the blanket trick. Tiptoeing, you reach for your window, slowly, carefully, lifting the window just enough to slip through. The night air hits your skin, cooler than you expected, but it's not far, just a short walk. You've done things like this before, nothing serious, just meeting some friends. The streets are empty. No cars, no voices, just the sound of your own footsteps and the faint rustle of trees in the distance. The grove, that's where you're going. They're already there. Shadows at first, then familiar shapes. Voices you recognize. It feels normal, almost comfortable. We talk, we laugh, and then, it's subtle at first, a shift in energy. A silence that lingers a little too long. Faces you no longer recognize. You don't understand it yet, but you feel it. Because in a few moments, everything is going to go so horribly wrong.
Oh my God. Wait, did I miss this? Are they at a graveyard?
The grove.
The grove. Okay. I don't know. In my head, I just immediately thought of a graveyard, but okay. The grove.
We all know that feeling of sneaking out of your parents' house when you're, 14, 15 years old.
My parents didn't give a shit. So.
Well, your parents didn't give a shit. Yeah. I definitely did sneak out of the house a few times. We just ran the streets and we stole magnets off of people's cars.
Okay. That sounds fun. I haven't snuck out, but I've obviously left my house and done all that fun stuff too.
I know, you were just able to do whatever.
Yeah, I didn't care. I just didn't have to sneak out to do it. So
it's that feeling of true freedom. You're you walk outside, you're free.
I can do anything
until the sun comes up, and then you got to be back in your bed.
Yep.
Today's case is a very difficult one. We're talking about things that describe violence, sexual assault, so listener discretion advised. On May 22nd, 1995, a 15-year-old girl, Elise Poller, walked into a eucalyptus grove on Napomo Mesa and never walked out. Elise Poller, like I said, was 15 years old. She was a freshman at Arroyo Grande High School. She was the oldest of 3 siblings, the kind of big sister that helped take care of her younger ones. She grew up in a stable middle-class home in Arroyo Grande, California. Her father was a successful contractor. Her mother, a devoted stay-at-home mother. That's something we know very well. Mm-hmm. Both being stay-at-home moms, it's something you do have to dedicate your entire life to.
For sure.
By all accounts, Elise was vibrant, creative, independent, spirited. She loved acting, had dreams of being on the big screen one day. She even made her own clothes, sewing pieces that reflected who she was. A 15-year-old making her own clothes is insane.
Yeah.
She played soccer. She was involved at her local church. She had structure, community, supporting, loving parents. And like so many teenagers, she was experimenting in who she wanted to be, meeting new people and picking up new habits. We all know what it's like to be a kid and not really understanding who you are and who you want to be, what crowd you want to hang out with. You're discovering new interests, maybe dabbling in the drugs.
Absolutely. Yeah. If my family's watching, I didn't do any of those.
Oh, my mama knows. These are things we've discussed.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of struggling with that right now because I know how I was at that age and my daughter is now that age and I am struggling a lot with that, but I trust her and obviously I know she's not going to tell me everything, but right now at this age, girl. This 14, 15, 16-year-old age is just, it's probably the most, I don't know even how to explain it. It's one of the most transition transitioning periods in your adolescent years, like period.
Oh, for sure.
Like 14 through 16 is like the time.
I feel that in my own adolescence, that was a really, really hard time of my life.
It is.
And really I feel for kids now going, like, because things are totally different now. I mean, I remember being 15 years old and going home and checking my MySpace on the family computer.
my AIM chat.
Yeah. And now it's like this thing is glued to them 24 hours a day. Like every single thing of their life is being recorded. I can only imagine and
it's just like, so I think one thing I'm catching on to is like how like self-conscious you are about everything, and just you are so just embarrassed. Like I think that's one of the biggest thing is like you're so embarrassed about everything, when eventually when you get to our age you realize no one cares. Like no one cares that much about you, and if they do, it's because they're obsessed, and that's it.
Nobody gets it.
Yeah. You know, it's definitely adolescence is a very hard time to deal with.
So the beginning, when I told the story about a girl sneaking out of her house and meeting boys, we're going to explain who these boys are.
Okay, and this girl was Elise.
Okay. Yep, Elise Poller. Well, that's not all that she was experimenting with, though. Elise began experimenting with the Mary Jane. Yeah. Okay. Totally normal, right? Totally normal. Through school and a shared bus route, Elise met Jacob DeLesmont. He was 16 years old. Jacob was a known drug abuser. Pot, meth, LSD.
At 16?
Name it. Yes. We've known people like this.
Okay, yeah, weed, but like meth? No, I don't know any 16-year-old that I have I didn't know any 16-year-old doing meth, but okay.
I've known some people.
Okay.
And yeah, that is very extreme to be experimenting with at 16 years old.
Golly. Okay.
Pot is an extremely long road till you get to meth.
You're right. That's my point. Like I mean, sure, absolutely, like weed, but like no fucking way. Nobody wanted to touch that stuff.
LSD to a degree, because that's like I don't know. You know what I mean? Whatever. We're not talking about that.
Yeah. Moving on.
So through Jacob, whom she had met while experimenting with her drugs, she was introduced to two other boys, Royce Casey and Joseph Fiorella. Together, they were in a band. The band was called Hatred.
Red flags.
The three of them were deeply immersed in the heavy metal subculture, but more than that, they were isolated. Jacob was raised in a religious LDS family, but he began spiraling into substance abuse, occult fascination, and obsession with the band Slayer. Joseph was heavily bullied and struggling academically. He was often noted as performing well below his academic age. Royce was angry and disconnected, finding escape into a darker fantasy-driven worldview. Would even compel Elise to even want to hang out with these guys or want to know them.
No, because she doesn't seem like that at all. Like,
I mean, she played soccer. She wanted to be an actress. She just seemed like a popular, well-rounded individual. And from my own personal experience, like being an outcast, being a weirdo, those two subcultures don't typically meet, especially in like a high school age where everybody is super cliquey.
But she also seems, because she was going to church and all that stuff, that she seems like a very accepting person, where maybe she wanted to like help them. Maybe it was more of
that is a really good perspective.
Helpful.
Totally didn't even think of that. I mean, or my perspective was maybe she was just fascinated by the bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean? That too. I think maybe a little bit of both, because us women always think we can fix them.
Oh,
we can fix them all. But yeah.
We always want to think we can. On July 22nd, 1995, Elise receives a phone call from Jacob. Jacob asks Elise if Elise wanted to hang out and smoke some weed. She sneaks out of her house that night. She tells no one. Her destination, a eucalyptus grove, less than a half a mile away from her home. We're talking about these kids and how they want to sneak out of their house and go smoke pot. If that was the case, we've all been in this situation where we're like, okay, we get a call from a boy, we're going to go hang out. You bring a friend. You always bring a friend.
Yeah, or tell somebody.
I mean, at 15 though, we always brought each other.
Oh God, yeah.
We always brought each other.
Gang.
I mean, maybe it was a different time and people were just more trusting, but I feel like that's something that's like distilled within your human nature of being a young girl.
Yeah, I could see that. Or she just kind of was like spur of the moment, like, yeah, let's do it, and then just didn't really put much like forethought into it.
Again, maybe
at that age, I mean, it's not like
maybe she was just attracted to them bad boys.
Yep.
So when she arrives, everything seems normal. They talk, they smoke, they sit together in the dark, and then everything changes. Heavy trigger warning here. Jacob removes his belt and wraps it around Elisa's neck. Royce holds her down. Joseph produces a knife, and over the course of the attack, they take turns stabbing her. They stab her 12 times in the back, shoulders, and neck. The injuries were not immediately fatal, which means, sadly, Elise suffered immensely. Eventually, she passed away from blood loss. And the violence does not end there. Again, trigger warning. Her body was violated and buried in a shallow grave, covered with sticks and leaves. Evil is alive and well in this world, and it was alive and well in 1995.
Why though? Why would, just because?
We will definitely get into.
Oh my God.
Even, okay.
What the fuck?
I take that back. You're asking why. Even if I do give you an explanation, it will not be reason enough.
No, God, no.
It will never be reason enough.
No, that just doesn't, there's no reason. There's none. No.
Even if these boys' lives were just not what they should have been, just this girl wanted to be your friend.
I don't. You still know wrong from right. Like, I don't give a fuck about like your life, your background. You know right from wrong. Period. Like, period. There's no reason.
Totally agree. The next day, July 23rd, Elisa's father reports her missing. But from the outside, it doesn't immediately look like a homicide because Elise had snuck out that night.
Yeah. Okay.
So
they need to know what the heck, where she is, obviously.
Okay, but this is your child. You report her missing and they tell you, no, your child ran away. Like, no. Her family was super well put together. You can tell. Like,
yeah, and you know your kid better than anybody.
She showed no signs of like wanting to run away previously. Yeah. Never had anything like that happen.
Police are just not
why like
smart.
Why in the 90s did they always just want to consider teenagers runaways? I feel like there's so many missing persons cases of like kids this age, and the police slept on it.
Because they couldn't have possibly happened. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just not as a prominent or like well-known thing that these types of things happen, because obviously nowadays with social media and the news and everything, like you can get information in an instant. Yeah, where back then maybe it was just like they didn't know about it, so they didn't believe it. You know? I don't know.
I don't care. You got the first 48 hours, buddy. You can't immediately tell people that. And that show's been on
since the 90s. So let's
exactly. That assumption cost time, and that was time that mattered. This theory was encouraged by the boys, spreading rumors around their school that Elise had gone on a road trip to New Mexico with her friends. Meanwhile, the boys go back to their lives. School, friends, normalcy, but not so normal. Trigger warning. It stated that the boys returned to the site multiple times to violate her again and again.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Monsters.
Ugh. Dude.
There's something gotta be.
Dude. Like, I have no words. I have no words.
That was the question that I typed. You returned to what?
Like, no. Dude. My God. I am like, I don't even have, like, I literally don't have words.
Yeah. It's that bad. This case is very extreme, and that's why I wanted to give such heavy trigger warnings here, because this is a child that we're talking about, and I don't want people to forget the brutality, because she needs to be talked about, even if that is the case.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so sad. Dude, that's so sad. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's why I asked you when we had had this conversation about, we don't really want to talk about children because we have our own children.
Yeah.
And
I draw the line.
those things really hurt our hearts, and we struggle with them. So I had asked Leah what age she was okay with us talking about, and not that
Any age is okay.
no, not at all.
But we're staying away from like infants, babies, that type of thing.
Yeah, we just can't do it. 8 months pass. 8 months. 8 months.
8 months? Oh my God. So she's been in this grove for 8 months and no one has found her. Well, they didn't know where I wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't know where to look.
Yeah,
I just wonder, like, okay, so she had friends.
And
right?
like, how did everybody know, like, at school that they were like buddies, like her and these 3 boys?
I don't think so. That's the
why
point
are
I
they
was just gonna
telling
make.
people like that she went to Mexico with her friends then? Like, why are you even like, you could have just act like you don't even know her.
I think heard it through the grapevine type of thing, where they told one person and then it grows and grows and grows, and it goes to a person that seems like more secure information. But what I was gonna say is she had friends.
Yeah.
What her friends had no idea what she was doing, that she was even like partially hanging out with these guys, that she was like, oh, she was getting pot from them. Like, you talk to your friends.
Yeah.
But 8 months goes by and the truth begins to surface. It does not come from evidence. Royce Casey confesses.
Oh my goodness. Good.
Royce, stricken with guilt, simply could not take the psychological torture anymore. He admits to a clergyman at a church he had attended in his youth of the vile acts he had committed. The clergyman in turn reported this to the authorities. Suddenly, this is no longer a missing persons case. It is a homicide investigation. I just like...
Thank God he did. Wow.
I want to smack the shit out of him, though.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't handle the psychological torture. You couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you could handle committing the acts? No. Like,
yeah, like it finally got to you, like after 8 months and you doing it, God even knows how many times. Like, you're insane. You're a crazy person. You should have went to a mental hospital instead of a church.
He deserves to burn in hell. But
yeah, that too.
I question if that was his goal to begin with. Royce, in turn, cooperates with the police and leads them to the grove where they uncovered Elisa's partially mummified remains. Royce did not only confess to his part in the crime, he also implicated his bandmates Jacob and Joseph.
Good.
As he should, obviously, implicate his friends. But I don't know a single person who would commit a crime like this with a group of people and be like, oh no, I was the only one who did it. No,
yeah,
like you are obviously going to implicate them in the crime. Like you're not taking that fall along. No. Especially not something that heinous. Like,
yeah,
you felt guilt and shame.
Like, that's insane. That's just insanity. There's no logic.
There is none.
There's none.
None. Well, we're actually going to talk about why the boys did this.
Okay.
It's very haunting, and it's really disturbing. The boys believed that by doing a human sacrifice, they would be granted power, recognition, and the ability to play their instruments with the veracity that Slayer did. They specifically targeted Elise because they believed she was a virgin. This assumption was only explained as speculation due to the nature of her purity and the fact that she had blonde hair and blue eyes. In their distorted worldview, she was the perfect candidate. Your evidence for murdering a 15-year-old girl was because she had blonde hair and blue eyes.
And she looked like she was pure because of, like, what?
I have
what?
I have no idea what the logic is.
And so obviously that's what the boys told them, is why they did it, because they didn't know probably anything about Slayer until they specifically told them that.
Yeah, I mean,
don't use Slayer as a reason to do bad things.
No.
Like, what the fuck?
That's something we are going to talk about.
Jeez.
Spoiler alert, Slayer got involved.
Oh my God. In a bad way?
We'll talk about it.
Lord, please don't.
Taking away the fact that they believe she was a virgin because she had blonde hair and blue eyes, I don't think it's unfounded that a 15-year-old girl would be a virgin.
No, yeah.
And they were in a high school probably full of blonde hair, blue-eyed virgins. So why Elise specifically?
Probably because she was the nicer one that actually contacted them back, or like was
I
nice
mean-
enough to befriend them, and she also smoked weed, so like she was chill and
Maybe
like
that was the bridge.
yeah.
Lured the girl in with pot.
Yep. And she was willing to experiment, obviously, with other drugs with them or whatever. So,
I don't think so.
Was it just pot?
It was never noted that she even attempted or even touched any other substance other than pot.
she was just experimenting with.
Yeah. I mean, her parents obviously took it that way. Like, she was religious and,
This is her rebellion. Yeah.
Yeah. And, if my child smokes pot one day, granted, I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but like, you're going to experiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
What makes this so much worse is they talked about this plan repeatedly, and the worst detail of this plan was it was not a spontaneous decision to violate Elise post-mortem.
Dude, that is sick. That is so...
That's a whole other level.
Dude.
That's a whole other level.
It is. No words. Again.
Joseph had become obsessed with the idea of sacrificing Elise specifically. They had discussed this in great detail as it was an integral part of their sacrifice. This was no grand ritual involving candles, robes, and spells. They simply believed that they were performing the necessary components of an ultimate sin that would secure favor from the devil. They discussed these plans dozens of times, gradually moving from a fantasy to a concrete, premeditated plot.
That makes me so sad. And that could have so been prevented.
I 100% believe it could have been prevented. I mean, I don't want to say you see weird dudes or dudes who are a little eclectic or a little on the darker edge of things and be like, oh, let's just not hang out with them. Don't talk to them.
No, some of the nicest people I've met in my life are like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, you never know. You just never know though. And these type of kids give us a bad rep.
Exactly.
What the heck, man?
That was my opinion entirely.
Yeah, because I love Slayer, and now you just using it as an excuse to do some horrendous shit.
Yeah.
Fucking what the hell?
I just don't know if Joseph had if he was interested in her maybe sexually and just
that was the only way he could do it.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he just didn't know how to put forth that momentum to be like, hey, I'm interested in you. And obviously his worldview was completely distorted.
Yeah.
If you had the courage to call her up and be like, hey, want to smoke some weed?
Yeah.
Why didn't you call her up and be like, hey, want to smoke some weed, and actually hang out with her and smoke some weed?
Yeah. Obviously there was a whole plot.
I know there's a plot, but I'm saying if that's what drove him to target her specifically, is that you liked her, why couldn't you just like her?
Yeah. Why couldn't you? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we're going to get into the Slayer thing. Their obsession was often tied to the music that they consumed. Albums like Rain and Blood and Season in the Abyss by Slayer in particular. Altar of Sacrifice. These have themes of satanic sacrifice, rituals, and Dead Skin Mask, a song that was famously inspired by the crimes of Ed Gein. In 1996, shortly after the murder of their daughter, David and Lisanne Paller filed lawsuits against the members of the band Slayer and their record label, American Recordings. The Pallers contended that Slayer knowingly distributed harmful material to minors. They argued that the band's music, lyrics, and marketing materials contained satanic, violent, and obscene content that incited the three teenagers to commit the murder post-mortem violation of Elise. So
yeah, but that's First Amendment. You can't just sue people for that. You can't just because you think so. Your opinion doesn't change the Constitution.
Absolutely. The court actually ruled that the music and lyrics are protected by the First Amendment. Mm-hmm. The judge concluded that the artistic expression, even when dark and violent, does not lose this protection. Judge E. Jeffrey Burke outright rejected the argument that the band is responsible for the murder. He stated, I do not consider Slayer's music obscene, indecent, or harmful to minors. and questioned the logic of the suit by asking where the legal line of accountability could possibly be drawn if bands were responsible for the actions of their fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
A fucking
You ever remember that Eminem song? That says the exact thing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
What Eminem song?
I think it's White America.
Oh, okay. I think I fell off the Eminem train around that time.
But he says that. He's basically like, you know, if I'm responsible for everything your kids are doing, then like, here I am. Like,
okay.
Come and get me, sue me, whatever.
I had like typed out a long diatribe of like how I feel about this, because this is something that's argued so often against metal artists. There's been lawsuits against Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, in the height of the Satanic Panic. So many artists were looked at as a reason so many children had gone astray. I think it is unreasonable. Artists should be free to express themselves artistically, and people should be able to indulge in their art without taking it literally. Art is abstract. I do agree that there should be an age which it could be maybe reasonable for a child to consume.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm personally not at liberty to disclose what that age would be, because in my household, like, metal is a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's
but
choice.
It's like, exactly, but it's not like you're like doing rituals in your house. You're just enjoying like the music, and it obviously music makes everybody feel some type of way. But again, where you take it too far and then blame, so it's like blaming video games or like blaming anything else but yourself for your actions. Like, there's no.
This is something we've run into a few times with these cases that we've talked about.
Yeah, you're responsible for yourself. That's it. You can't blame other people or other things. That's it. Like, yeah. I mean, you can say that they influenced you, but you can't like blame them.
No.
Like, they influenced them, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that they had to do what they did. And by suing the artist, like, that's not going to change anything.
I don't want to bash her parents for putting forward this lawsuit, because they're hurt, man. Like, they're hurt. God, yeah, they're looking for any reason why.
Yeah, but like, you can twist it and say the same thing about like Christianity. Because people have done horrendous things in the name of God.
Yes.
So like, I just, like, I get it. Like, I get it where there's like this good and evil, right and wrong, God, the devil, like back and forth thing. But you cannot blame anybody but yourself for your own actions. That's it. No one like forced you. They chose to do this.
Absolutely.
And regardless of what influenced them, they still chose to do that. Because there's people like you and I that listen to Slayer that would never in a million years dream of something like that. So it's like,
where's the line? Where is reality and where is fiction? Where is it? Because all of these cases that we have covered, people have lost the fucking plot.
Yeah, for real.
Even after the judge had stated that we were driven by our own personal obsessions, like, we were so deeply involved in this like fantasy world, and their obsession with Slayer, taking their lyrics literally as instead of a form of art.
I don't like when the judge went and said like that they didn't see that this was harmful to minors and Like, it absolutely is in that way, because it influenced them. And I do think like the words that they're saying can absolutely influence minors, but it's still under First Amendment. So like, he didn't have to like, it's almost like a slap in the face to like the parents.
That's
by adding that commentary.
I didn't want to
like, he didn't have to say like how he felt about it. In a way, he could have just been like, First Amendment. Unfortunately, this falls under that. But like, the way that he like talked, it was like he didn't even care. Like, he didn't feel sorry.
I would say like he was clinical about it, but at the same time, I get where you're coming from, because like I said, I feel for these parents. I know they're looking for a reason why something like this would happen, but I don't think he's wrong. I mean,
no, but
obviously minors.
My bitch is that, like I said, like just the way that he like just gave his opinion, like his feelings. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, you could have just like said, I'm so sorry for what happened to your daughter, but unfortunately there's nothing that we can do because it falls under First Amendment. Like, you didn't have to be like, well, like it's not even bad. And
Actually,
yeah, like give your 2 cents.
This case specifically instantly made me think of West Memphis 3 case, and I know that is a case like you 100% do not want to dive into because it does involve
I've heard of it.
children.
I don't know exactly like what happened.
It's absolutely awful. It's a group of boys outcasted, being blamed simply because they were enveloped into the metal world. Not that this is the same situation at all.
No, it doesn't seem like it because these guys admitted to it and
but just the fact that metal once again is being blamed for these things. They're being blamed. People who listen
to because of people like this.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Why.
But it's like I said, art is abstract. You don't, not literal. It's the same reason that we like horror. It's the same reason we listen to metal. It's not that you take it literally. It's art.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can like see stuff from someone else's like perspective without having to be like involved in it. Yeah, yes. Like have it be part of your life. Like you can enjoy it from an outsider's perspective. You don't have to be like,
you don't have to live it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It irks me so bad though, because people who listen to like smooth jazz commit vile acts, but like that's never been brought into question. And I understand that the lyrics and the visuals of these things can be, I don't know, off-putting, and it is violent.
They do absolutely talk about violence, committing violence, say violent things, say horrible things.
But it's like the fact that the crime is not the causation.
No, I mean, you can, again, that's freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to, but doing it is completely different. Yeah. So you can, obviously it is art. Like they're putting a song together and they're making music and whatever, and that's how they're expressing themselves. So I totally get that, but you can obviously see it from an outsider's point of view where they think, well, talking about killing A, B, C, and D person is obviously going to influence someone to probably take that literally and go kill A, B, C, and D person if they look up to a band that much, like they idolize something. Of course,
I know from personal experience that metal music is an outlet for people. It's something that they feel within themselves, and it's like an outlet for them to feel a rage. It allows them to be angry at things that they cannot control
or can't explain, and they can't, and the music can't explain how they're feeling without them having to
and it's not
express it themselves.
It is a super abstract thought, and for somebody to grasp, but that's one of the reasons that people do enjoy this subculture. It's a way for them to express themselves without even understanding what it is that they're expressing.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I agree.
So in 1997, Royce Casey, Jacob Delesmit, and Joseph Fiorella each pleaded no contest to first-degree murder. They were all sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Years passed, appeals were filed, parole hearings came and went. Throughout his incarceration, Royce Casey participated in education and religious reflection. In his parole filings, he expressed remorse, stating that he was a different person than he was. He argued that his past obsession with death metal and a fantasy world had corrupted his morals. After being granted and subsequently denied parole multiple times by the governor, eventually he was granted parole and released from Valley State Prison in Chowchilla in August 2025 after serving 30 years.
No way. So this was like just almost a year ago now that he was released. He was the one, Royce was the one that told confessed. And told on them. Well, I mean, he helped himself out a little bit there by being the first one to do it and like telling him everything like that. But I don't think they ever should have gave him any sort of parole. Like,
I don't think so either. Me? No. But we do also have to take into consideration that these were minors who were tried as adults.
It should have been.
I 100% agree. But I'm saying the fact that they were children.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that a crime that was committed in the 90s has multiple people who are just walking around free now because that's 30 years.
Yeah.
And most sentences are 30 to life or whatever.
Or 25 to life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually. And I think, I don't know, with just the amount of time, I really still don't think that, I mean, I'm a totally different person than I was when I was 15 years old. I completely agree with that part of it, but there's still that part like in your soul. And it's not just like, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't something that was like,
oh, we accidentally hit him with our car.
Yes. It wasn't something like that. Like they intentionally and like horrifically did that with that just lives in your soul, bro.
Oh, for
like
sure.
That's like in your soul. And I don't think that you can't like heal your soul like that. And I don't care if you say, I've come to God. Like, I think they just say that because that's what they want to hear. But I don't genuinely think, like, after you've done something like that and you committed an act like that, like, your soul cannot be redeemed. I don't think so.
It might be arguable for Royce almost instantly because he did confess to a clergyman at his church. So maybe he did like have a coming to Christ moment.
Well, he did because he's in jail. He was.
Yeah, but I'm saying before he was even incarcerated, before he even like took the fall for this crime, like he was feeling remorse and.
Well, you can still feel remorse and have like.
No, I know, but I'm saying he had that coming to Christ moment before he even was in prison, while a lot of inmates are cool
I get
throughout their sentence, and then they come out and they're like, oh, I came to Christ.
Yeah. They're like, I totally regret it. Like, I found Jesus, and then use Jesus as like an excuse.
Yeah, like
and then now you're using the opposite as an
Jesus
excuse.
Jesus a crutch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't feel bad for him. He should go back to jail. They shouldn't have let him out.
Well, it gets worse.
Oh my God.
Jacob also was granted parole, but his process wasn't so widely talked about in the public. Jacob kept a low profile while incarcerated. He didn't speak publicly about any remorse that he had. This decision to release these two shocked everyone.
Why did they release him? Fuck him.
I don't know, man.
God,
I don't know.
Wow.
So this shocked the public, the legal team, and most importantly, Elisa's family.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a slap in the face.
While Elisa's father had previously indicated in earlier hearings that he did not personally object to Royce Casey's parole, the family and their legal team were reportedly shocked by the release of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Hutkin, attorney representing Elisa's parents, noted that while Casey had engaged in the parole process and expressed remorse,
the family feels okay about Royce getting out. He's shown remorse, he's been apologetic, and he's done everything right and really tried to reform himself.
According to the victim's family lawyer, Alan Hutkin, Casey has been an honor inmate and earned a college degree. District Attorney Dan Dow is fighting his potential release. In this letter to Governor Gavin Newsom, he says, quote, Casey still has not developed insight into the character defects that allowed him to participate in such a hideous crime.
The other two had not shown the same level of contrition. Hutkin stated that it made no sense whatsoever that Jacob was granted parole, arguing that neither of the accomplices should have been released.
No.
This isn't something that fades with time. This isn't something that gets easier after 25 or 30 years. Their daughter is dead. This is permanent for them.
Yeah. That is such a slap in the face to her
really
and her
is.
family. My gosh.
I mean, so let's think
That's
about
insane.
it. They did 30 and they were 16 at the time. They have a whole life ahead of them.
Yeah.
Like
and
a
fucking
literal
Elise
whole life.
does not.
No.
And she never will. And you're not even. No. Eye for an eye. Nope.
Eye for an eye?
Eye for an eye.
I mean.
In this case.
I was going to say, I don't.
I want to be biased in this case.
I don't really know.
It's horrific. That is horrific what they did to this poor girl.
I don't know if I believe in prison reform or inmate reform or whatever you want to call it. There's
Not
been
really.
lots of cases where these people do get out and they continue to commit the acts that
especially
they've committed.
in relation to like SA and like murder. Like I feel like the recidivism rates on those are like so much higher. Because they're getting away with it. If you think about it, like they are, now that they're out, they got away with it.
They 100% got away with it. I mean, I don't think like 30 years is something to stick your nose up at. Like, I mean, that's hard time for sure, especially like that young. But I don't know if you just step out of that the same. And I feel like prison oftentimes makes criminals
worse,
even better criminals, and makes them worse psychologically. It just.
I completely agree with that. And I think especially for someone so young going into the system, that's all they know.
Yeah, that was their childhood.
That they've been in prison more than they were out of prison. Yeah. So think about it like that. Like they're used to that being their life. And not only that, but now they come out and like, what do they have? They have nothing. They have no one. They have no way to like care for themselves. And it's like, those are the types of people that immediately are going to like end up back in prison.
Yeah, reoffending.
Yes.
I don't know though. It could be an argument for Royce because he did, religious things. He ended up like doing work in prison and getting a degree and all that, so that might be an argument for prison reform.
For him. But obviously like he wasn't even the one that made the original phone call to Elise, correct? No. That was Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob was like the ringleader.
So he's he's the one and why would they ever let him out? Like again, you can make an
I meant
argument
Joseph. Joseph was the ringleader. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I take that back.
Okay. But Jacob's out. Jacob and Royce are out. But Joseph was.
Are you wondering what happened to Joseph?
Yeah, is he not? Is he still in prison? I hope they didn't let him out.
Oh. No, Joseph is still behind bars.
Good.
And he is what some would say is the ringleader of the murder. He obtained the personal obsession with Elise. He was the one who initiated the idea of sacrificing her as a virgin. He was immersed in the Slayer and their lyrics. He studied the music with an intensity that went beyond simple fandom. It makes sense that he was the one who was still behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
Though I would argue that none of them should have been released. Like this is
exactly
absolutely senseless.
Mm-hmm. Just give them all the electric chair. We don't have time for that.
No. Well, this is California though.
Say no more. Say no more.
No, I mean not say no more. I mean this is California. They are very lenient on said things. I would say. I don't know.
No, they are.
I don't know.
They sure are.
None of them should be out, but
I'm glad he's still in prison.
I feel bad for so many people in this situation. I feel bad for her family, obviously. I feel bad for her friends. I feel bad for this entire school who was probably ripped apart by a murder like this happening.
And they found out like how they found out, and then they're like sitting next to these kids at school, and they're like, "Oh my God, it could have been me." And they're probably all fucking traumatized now too. And everybody in it, like, this is a very difficult case, I would say, with just being so young. And you could again argue that they come to Christ or whatever, but I just don't think that your soul can be fixed after doing something like that.
No,
I don't care.
There's absolutely no going back.
Nope.
An indie rock band, Low Shoulder, desperate to be something, arrives in a small town. After a performance at a local bar, they pick the one. Enter Jennifer Check, a gorgeous, popular teenager. The band lures Jennifer into the woods to a place called Devil's Kettle Waterfall. Shortly after arriving, they reveal their true intentions. To grant them fame and fortune, they believe one little sacrifice is all it would cost. They need to sacrifice a virgin. Sound familiar?
Gosh, yeah.
Spoiler alert, Jennifer Check was not a virgin. So when they did this to her, she turned into a man-eating succubus.
Okay.
I am obsessed with Jennifer's body.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I first watched this movie, I was like, oh my God, this
that makes
so
me happy.
Cringe.
That's such a good play that I wish would have actually happened in real life, but that's awesome.
I wish Elise would have come back.
Yeah.
And
she's haunting them motherfuckers.
Ate these I for know real. It. For real. Oops.
Good. That's crazy. I'm glad that they made that movie. I have maybe seen bits and pieces
Oh
of it.
no,
But
you've never seen it?
not really, no. Like I know,
no.
I know it's got like Amanda Seyfried in it and Megan Fox, of course. But
Yeah.
I didn't really know like the plot of it.
There it
is.
So doesn't it sound familiar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did they?
So
write
the
this about
directors actually did not connect these two at all. Like it was never publicly stated that was their inspiration for Jennifer's body. They said that it was like a spin on like female empowerment, and obviously something terrible happened to Jennifer and she turned around and she became the hunter of.
Yeah, I love
what
that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I wish at least that would have happened.
For real.
But no, I guess maybe they didn't like. There's no way that's not the inspiration. Like they knew about it. That's way too close. That's way really too close of a story.
It is really close.
Maybe it's just because they didn't want to be involved in that situation.
I could understand that.
Like they wanted to just do their thing and like act like it wasn't, but like really it was. They just didn't want people to know.
I agree. I mean,
they weren't tied together.
But so much art does like take inspiration in reality.
Yeah, which is why there's no way that they were not inspired by Elisa's story.
Maybe they didn't know though. I mean, maybe they didn't know. Yeah, like you said. Maybe I'm giving too much credit, but
I mean, Jennifer's Body came out in like 2015 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like the early 2010s.
This happened before Jennifer's Body, that, so I mean,
I slept on this movie so hard because the first time I watched it, I was like,
"This is dumb."
Megan Fox, God, she's all over the place, everywhere, and I mean, God, she's so fucking smoking hot. So I get it. Maybe that's why I was mad at it, because she's just hot as fuck.
Like, I don't want to look at this.
No, I can't.
Get her the fuck out of my face.
I can't do it. I gave it another chance, probably like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, and I became totally obsessed with the idea of this movie. Yeah, because it's so campy and cheesy and funny and absolutely horrific at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does harken back to like that movie that I talked about before, that Jawbreaker movie. Mm-hmm. It's so like
nostalgic, kind of.
And no, it does kind of give me that same feeling, but it's like girl boss in a not cringy fucking way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't feel.
Like,
it doesn't feel forced.
Queen. It's
it
more
does not
like
feel forced. It feels good. It feels like it should be.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, you're putting me on. You're always putting me on. Thank you, Gib.
Well, I want to have like a movie marathon because
when we have
lots
time,
of things I want to watch with you. But yeah, it's very odd, the similarities between these two. It makes me very sad that Elise didn't get to eat these men and tear them to pieces.
Could you fucking imagine though, like her just like?
It would be awesome.
Goodbye, Royce. Goodbye, Joseph. Goodbye, Jacob.
Well, when they get their comeuppance, one day when they meet their maker.
Karma's a bitch. The devil is as bad as they come. So you worship him. That's where you're gonna end up. You're gonna have a fun old time down there.
Well, unfortunately for Elise, her story was not fiction. And again, we're coming to the statement of the lines between reality and fiction are super, super blurry. That's all I have for today.
Okay, guys. And that was today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.